Well, let's kill some music. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Now, this thing does annoy me a bit that the music doesn't quit. That's what you're seeing. So there you go. We're just going to kill it abruptly. All right, all right. What's up? What's up? All you fellow toy collectors, vintage action figure admirers, and so on. So, a couple of things. Well, let's start off with what we have been doing lately. We went to see the Masters of the Universe movie this weekend, and I thought it would be better than it was. It wasn't horrible, but it was definitely a family movie. Plenty of adult humor. I don't want to give anything away, but if you do a little review on the history of He-Man, you'll appreciate some of the things they've hidden inside some of the Easter eggs. All right, on to the next. So I've been doing some videos in our Facebook group, The Toys We Love. We've left the Mego-like toy group. Just long story. I don't feel like getting into it. But it's better off that we left. We start a new toy group, or we don't have to be subjected to the tomfoolery and stupidity of certain people that live in a fantasy world that don't understand what reality is. So a bunch of us, we left last year and decided that we're going to do something new. So the YouTube channel still says My Amigo Like. However, that is not the Facebook group anymore. The Facebook group is The Toys We Love. What was I looking for in here? I don't know. Something else here. There we go. Okay. In any case, oh, look who's here. Mr. 5150 Toys himself, Brian Sanchez. There he is. What has Lou been up to lately? Looking for room in his toy room. Excellent. That is true. So I've gotten to a point where things are a little overstuffed here. It's becoming less toy collecting, and I think it's almost more hoarding at this point. Hoarding of toys. But the popcorn buckets, we've been getting some more of those. The Mandalorian. I did get the Skeletor popcorn bucket. I was hoping to get the He-Man Castle Grayskull and the He-Man going up the throne room, but didn't happen, and I'm not paying an arm and a leg for that on eBay, so it is what it is. But I have been looking around, and I've shown some of these pieces before, but probably not to this extent. So today, something came in I'm very excited about. It's according to what I saw, it's pretty much an immaculate shape, and it all works, and it's brand new, nothing's broken. They're very hard to find. I'd say they're basically they're on the side of rare, if you will, or very, very hard to find. Although when I show you that this is my sixth one, you might not think so. And they do pop up. I've seen them pop up, but usually they're quite broken or missing pieces. And I have some that are probably, I would tell you, the least complete one's probably about 90% complete. The most complete one is hopefully this one, which is 100%, I think. So let's talk about it before I get to the one there. And then I'm going to show you some other stuff that I've shown before, but not. I finally closed the series. I finally found them all in box. I was very excited because they're old 70s toys. So we're going to go back in time a little bit to the 1970s when one of my favorite stores as a kid, I don't know why, it was Sears. Sears had everything. Sears had everything. Every tool your dad needed, all your tough skin Wrangler jeans, toys for kids. I mean, you name it, they had it. Sears was it. Sears and Roebuck. And Sears was in business since the 1800s. I think over 120 years, I think Sears was in business, maybe more. And, the Sears Wish Book was a huge, huge thing every year for kids to go and start circling for the toys that they wanted. And Sears even had some of their own exclusive toys, some of the ones you could only get in the Sears Wish Book, or things that were rebranded for Sears. For example, when the Atari 2600 came out, there's a very popular gaming system, but Sears had the Sears Telegames, which was the same thing, a little bit different branding. Games look a little, the cartridges looked a little different, but for the most part, it was pretty much the same thing. However, the Telegames, as much as it showed up in Sears, I don't think they made as many of them or sold as many of them, or as many of them are existing as there were the Atari 2600s. I've come across, I was gifted an Atari 2600 that still works. It needed a new power supply, but get them anywhere. And, it's cool. Hard part is it doesn't work on a flat screen because of the video driver and so on. But You can get an old TV probably for free in this case, or you could get a converter that helps boost it, or you could get the Atari 7800 Plus, which is a wireless controller, non-internet connected, plays most of the old 2600, 5200, and 7800 games. It's a Plus, it's small. It's a wireless controller, it's pretty neat. Anyway, enough of that. So let's go back to Sears. So, well, they were doing all these cool things, popular at the time with things like G.I. Joe, the 12-inch action figure series, military, and the Adventure Team ones. We also had Big Jim came a little bit later. We had a few other toys in there. Mark's toys were out there. We had the Lone Ranger series. We had Mego, of course, was floating around. The good Mego, not the new stuff that's out there. That's my opinion. You don't have to like it. I don't really care. The company's terrible today. And some other figures out there that were pretty cool. So Sears would make a lot of sets for things for like action figures like G.I. Joe. We also had LJ and Mr. Action, which was a ripoff of G.I. Joe, but Sears made these sets. They also did things for Barbie. A lot of Sears only sets. Things, I have a few here that are boxed just because they're old and in good condition. I've held on to them or bought them and stored them away, but they were building a lot of these things, for these other action figures, and they jumped on the on the tailcoats of those figures, and they did some good sales. So I'm going to show you probably the ones in the most, probably not the best shape of all of these. And it's this Sears Space Command Center. I've shown this before. Not only is it a Space Command Center, but it was also a rock and roll studio. So it was basically made, you could do it for, I guess, your G.I. Joe or your Barbie doll. And if you take a very close look on the front, and this happened a lot back in the 70s, is they would borrow other people's action figures for their own boxes and put them on. Empire Toys did it. They used the Excel Legends of the West 9-inch figures. Thank you, John Toyzilla Marshall, for pointing that out for me. I couldn't believe I didn't know it was. They've used the Sunshine Family dolls. They've used quite a few others that are floating out there. But this is actually the gentleman that's, it's not the same outfit he has on. It's a little different, of course. But this is the gentleman that is actually on the box here. Now, like I said, this is probably one of the worst example boxes I have, but these are still very rare. They usually come out to be quite expensive. It has a tear on the box, and you will probably pay more than $100 for it. You may be up in the $150, the $200, depending who wants. I've seen them, people trying to get $400 for them. I would not pay $400 for this. This was the only one left on the planet. And just to give you a little idea, probably as to why, take a quick look around here. These are my existing 5 that I've gotten. I've been collecting. I do have I have a piece that's loose. Here it is. This goes inside the set. It's actually a radio. It has a microphone. It's an AM radio. You can tune it and so on. But this is also the desk that Mr. Action sits at, and I'll show you. Battery goes in the back and so on. But I want to show you the one that I got today. I took it out of the box, but I have not taken it out of the box. So this is what we have. Supposedly it's in perfect working order. We'll see. Again, it's electronics from the 70s, and it's an AM radio. Now, I'm not sure if anybody listens to AM radio anymore, except for my good friend Brian Sanchez at 5150 Toys. Find him on YouTube. He loves AM radio. I don't know why. He just seems to enjoy it. He loves that scratchy, squeaky old sound. That's all right. That's okay, Brian. It's all right. You're allowed to do that. Nothing wrong with that. All right. So the box is, it's faded on the front, and it's got some rips on the back. It's a little faded on the sides. I can tell from the coloring on it. However, let's see what's inside. We're going to see if this is as good or worse than it was marked at. Regardless, as the price for it was quite fair, I was like, I don't need another one of these. How many of these friggin' things do I need? However, when he said it's all complete and nothing's broken, I got quite excited because it's very hard to find them broken. The plastic gets quite brittle. The microphone, I'll give you an example. There's a microphone clip that goes here. As you can see, it's snapped off. It's just a kind of a C-clamp, and it snaps off a lot. Here's the chair. This is usually missing. It's a very cheap plastic. It's if you crack this or broke it, you could actually use that kind of liquid plastic weld that I use over there, that Toy Polloy. I watch a lot of his videos in fixing. You could actually fix it with that because it would put it back together. Let's see. We're going to take it all out, and we're going to see how it does. I don't know how we're going to get it all back in. Not quite sure how it goes together, but we'll see if it's complete. We'll see what happens. All right. So the box is a little not so great. It's definitely got some fading to it, but that's okay. It's the contents I'm more concerned about because it's almost not broken. That's interesting, unless it just broke in the package, which it may. No, it did not. Okay, so you can take a look. This clip is usually missing. Has the little peg that goes in here. I can see it's already been snapped off. Could I glue it back in? Sure, why not? Will it hold? Well, let's take a look. Well, more or less it'll hold. Could I get that out of there? And glue? Yes, I could do that. Or I could just glue it permanently if I want. Looks like it's missing the battery cover. All right, so it's not quite complete. This comes up, the handle comes up. I could take the cover off another one to make one more complete. We're going to see if it works. The knobs seem to be okay. One's for volume, one's for tuning. There's just some very basic AM radio electronics inside. You can open this up in the back. I've already opened one. You could take these screws out, open up. It's just a very basic AM radio board in there. Not really difficult to take apart. And I'm sure anybody with some basic electronics that knows anything about some basic electronics could probably repair one if they need to. So let's see if everything's here as promised. This is usually broken. Okay, well, I don't see the, oh, here it is. Okay. So this is the microphone stand, as you can see. It's got a clip. Here is the microphone. I am not going to push this Can I do it? Oh, I can do it that way. Okay. Because I'm not going to snap the microphone in. You want to slide that baby in there, because if you don't, you're probably going to snap the cheap plastic. There is your microphone that goes into the stand. These are the clips. These are the clear clips that hold these pieces together. So you've got two sides of this. You've got two sides of the floor. You've got the space floor and the rock and roll floor. You have the rock and roll wall, which I don't know, Sanchez. That kind of looks like, what does that look like there? Is that Gates with the Bee Gees on there, playing on there? And then you've got the other side, which is the space scene. It's kind of got a Space 1999 feel to it. I think that's pretty cool. Remember, Space 1999 was big back in the day. Star Wars was big back in the day. This is for the rock and roll studio set. Here's another one for the, and these basically go together like a wall, and then you put your stuff in there. Here's another one, the space sets. And there's even another one. They've got some really cool graphics on there. You got some artists to paint some really neat stuff on there, which is probably more what I appreciate than anything else. And these pieces, yes, you could reproduce them. Yes, you could reprint them. But to get originals that are in nice shape, and these plastic clips hold the pieces together in the shape of the wall, I think that's outstanding. Now, what else is included? Well, glad you asked. We have this microphone, which actually doesn't do anything. It's a fake microphone. There's a hole on top. It plugs in. And I'm not going to even push it in there because I don't even want to tempt. God, oh, okay. I guess I am doing it. And that is so your action figure, like Mr. LJ and Mr. Action, can get in there and use the microphone, or G.I. Joe. Let's see if we can pull this out without damaging it. Okay. Here is your microphone. This is not the first microphone I have. There's a couple of them. These do not need batteries. These are completely analog. There is a microphone jack in here that goes here, and then this clip on the side is to hold the microphone. Like I said, this clip is it's always broken, but it's always missing. This I could actually do something with, because this I could actually put a peg through the back of there. It's thick enough to get a peg through the back, and I could get it in there, or just glue it, but I'm not going to glue it. I don't want to ruin it. All right, so we're going to do a couple things here. We're going to see if it really works like you said. And I do have a few that are working, and there's not much AM radio around here to tune anymore, but let's see if it works. I don't know. Okay, there's volume. It's like being in an old movie where you're lost. This is what I hate about AM radio. Well, it's working. Okay, so the idea behind this was you could take this with you. You could carry it and have your AM radio. Or you could do this. Hello, hello, hello. Brian Sanchez on the radio. DJ Brian. DJ Brian. DJ Brian on the radio. Come on down to Sanchez's Sausages, the King of Chicago. King of Chicago Sausages, Brian Sanchez. Yes. So you could do your little karaoke, or you can make it a PA system. Roger, right on, Roger, right on. We got a special sale, blue light special at Sanchez's Sausages down here in Detroit. How's everybody doing tonight? All right, come on down, get your special extra long sausage at Sanchez's Sausages. I didn't turn off, so it's completely on. Like Brian is going to kill me after that, I can tell. So it does work, so that's good. Most of the ones I have work, but sometimes these knobs will get a little fucked up in here. They get loose and they don't want to work so well. But it's a very basic radio set. That's all it is. You take it out, it's just a little circuit board for radio, a little receiver in there, and so on. So it's a nice little set. What is it missing? It's missing the battery cover. And this snapped off. Oh, what also is included, these are also missing. I'm not worried about the battery cover because I have them. Is this, are the headphones. These are always missing. I think this is the second pair of headphones I have. I don't think I have another one. And they are pretty unique to this set. I don't know of any other G.I. Joe stuff that has them similar, but not exactly the same. They're very hard plastic, so they snap. They're not very flexible. I don't even know if Mr. Action can wear them. Oh, he can wear them. Okay. God, I don't want to break them, so we'll just go a little easy on him. There he is, Mr. Action. There he is. May I present LJN's Mr. Action? Actually, this is not a Mr. Action. This is actually a Mr. Action, not a knockoff. They took the Mr. Action figure and they made him into somebody else, and it's from Germany. My friend Vic Drago sent me a whole bunch of stuff, and a bunch of these. So these are, I forgot what they were called, but you'll see these all over. This head sculpt is quite popular. As a matter of fact, this head sculpt also happens to be on the bootleg Maskatron figure. If you haven't seen that, I'm pretty sure you have. Should we show that, Sanchez? Let me scroll down. I can't even see what Sanchez is writing. What's he writing? Lou, everybody, what's he say? Lou, everybody knows you have a good sausage. You love a good sausage product. Brian Sanchez, ladies and gentlemen, the Sancharoni. Brian, let's show the bootleg Maskatron, shall we? Let's do it. All right, we're going to show the bootleg Maskatron. The bootleg Maskatron. The bootleg Maskatron. Oh, yeah. Bootleg Maskatron. Okay. So we have a few. Okay. All right, we have a few. We just stepped on that, popped that. We have a few of these as well. I'm pretty sure you've probably seen these at some point. They have a tendency to get a little expensive. These were not as expensive. What's out there? I got very, very lucky. So this is a bootleg Maskatron, and essentially it's a really crappy body. It just has a sticker on the front. There's no real bionics, and the head pops off, and then he just has a sticker inside. But there is the LJN Mr. Action head. That's one of the faces that comes with it. The other one is this one has a little bit of extra paint or something. This is the John Saxon face. And again, the stickers. These are, okay, well, these I think, no, these are right boots. They're very like loose and crappy. I think these are the wrong boots for this one, if I'm correct. So I have two of the blue ones. Then I have this green one. Again, this is the Maskatron knockoff face. See, just stickers. And I have this really unusual one in yellow. These higher boots. It's the same type of material as the other two. It's just bizarre. But this one actually is the third face, or the fourth face, which is the Planet of the Apes Cornelius face. So they did the Maskatron face. They did the Cornelius face, which they stole from pretty much from Mego, I would say. And then they stole the Mr. Action head instead of the Steve Austin, John Saxon, and who was the third one on there? I forgot. And the Maskatron face, I believe it will. So, but these are some of the extra heads that come with it. And, you know, I'm just showing these now. You can see some are in darker. They're in darker paint, lighter paint, and so on. So these are some pretty cool knockoffs. Here's a better knockoff Maskatron head. And here is a knockoff Distraction head. So they're pretty darn close. Let's take a look. Even down to the hair part. Let's do a side by side. See? Okay. But these are also very hard to find them. If you haven't figured out by now, if you haven't watched this channel before, if you haven't seen these things, I love knockoff shit. I really do. I love this cool G.I. Joe knockoff, Mego knockoff. I'm into all that. My toy room over here, this is just the small part. If we go over there, it's a couple of rows, just tons of knockoff shit in addition to the more popular stuff. But yeah, I'm just kind of excited to show that. All right, so let me go to the next thing. So while we're on with Sears, Sears also came out with some pretty cool sets. They had what was called the floor model computer. Again, these are from the 70s. They had the computer play set, and then the combination airline reservation computer play set. So this was one of the computers. Now, they marketed this more towards girls than boys because it's a woman on the box. I'll show that to you in a minute. She's kind of got a Jamie Summers look. And these had no batteries. The idea is you could make the computer work. The lights would go down here. It would spin. The chair swings out. The chair turns, and it would go. There were some other features of some of the other sets as well that they had, but no batteries required. The back is just a piece of basically cardboard, if you will, stock board, put into the onto the back of it. Is that John Cook? Oh, that is John Cook. It is a sausage party. It's always a sausage party when Sanchez is around, John. You should know that. All right, so let me show you what that set comes from when it's boxed. And I just got this. I did a live on our Facebook group, The Toys We Love. This is the boxed version. This is in immaculate condition. The tape is old and it was open, but I don't know if it was even opened out of here. I think I took it out to look at it, but that's it. Again, made by Sears over here, right? And just a really cool set. And it tells you things it can do. Works with the push of a finger, revolving data graphs, simulated flashing light panel, moving tape reel, swing seat for 11.5-inch fashion dolls. Sold by Sears Roebuck and Company, Chicago, Illinois, where Sanchez is the king of Chicago, made in Hong Kong. So, this is back in the day. It's Hong Kong. It's a nice set. Now, there were three parts to this set. And the other the other two, we had this one, which is the computer play set, which was basically, it's a desk with a little printer. And then it kind of had this, what is this? Is this a printer over here? Desk? I forget. No, they actually showed they're showing part of the bigger set. So it's basically this desk. And what it did was it works with the push of a finger. Again, no batteries. Excuse me. Desk model computer play set, a ringing telephone, clicking computer typewriter, simulated flashing light panel, swing seat again for 11-inch fashion dolls, included office diorama, extra cardboard, file cabinet, and desk. So they give you this file cabinet and this desk. They're in cardboard to have a little office set, and the background. This background's also included. So then what they said is, hey, we could probably make a little more money. Let's do this. Let's put it into one big set. We'll call it the Airline Reservation Computer Play Set for 11.5-inch fashion dolls. And you've got all the pieces of both sets. You got the computer play set desk. You've got the floor model computer. Can you believe how big this thing is? Like, that's crazy back in the day. And you get all the stuff with it. And it does both things combined. This was brand new, never taken out of the box. It was the first one that took it out. As you can see, it doesn't quite want to close as well as it did when I got it, but it's a great set. So that's all three pieces, and these are extremely hard to find in my experience. It took me a long time to get them. I saw this loose, grabbed this one quite a while ago, and I started seeing a box when I grabbed the play set, and they don't come up much. So if you're looking for them, I usually, actually, I don't want them, probably Sears play set or something like that. I'm not really sure. Anyway, that's what that is. It's a sickness. It is a sickness. One would have been enough. I think you're right, Sanchez. I think you're right. But in any case, that's what we have for you today. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you have questions or comments, feel free to post them. And if you haven't joined our Facebook group, The Toys We Love, you should definitely check it out. It's a very nice, wonderful, non-combative, non-fighting. You don't have admins standing over your shoulder telling you what you can and cannot say. It's a very nice group. We don't worry to do all that stupid ass bullshit. Oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. I'm not about that. Free speech, baby. All right, that's it. I'm going to say good night. Sanchez, you want to say anything before we go, or Mr. Cook? Anything you guys want to say? I'm pretty sure Sanchez wants to throw in a late comment in there because I know him. Can't get away from Sanchez without him throwing something in there. So let's give him a little moment to pop up a message. And while he's doing that, I'm going to start putting these things back into the box. I think this might be the limit. I think, Sanchez, 6 of these is probably where we need to stop. 1, there's barely any room to put them. And 2, it's quite a bit, and they're getting expensive. I will say this, though. I did come down here last weekend. I found a way to reorganize some of the back room, and I got some free shelf space. Yes, I think I opened about 2.5 shelves or 3. So excited because it was packed. I didn't get rid of anything. I just shuffled things around the way that I thought would work better. What do you got to say, Mr. Sanchez? I know you got something to say. What's he saying? Don't do drugs. Excellent, excellent, excellent. That is an excellent comment. Don't do drugs by Mr. Brian Sanchez. The Sanchez, the Sancharoni, the Sanchamahini, the Sancharuski, the Sancharonsky. There he is. Brian Sanchez says, don't do drugs. Let's listen to Brian. Brian's a smart man. He knows what he's talking about. Isn't that right, Mr. Sanchez? All right. I'm out of here. I got to go. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching the channel. I don't do regular schedule stuff. I just pop in and out. Sometimes I do a lot. I did a lot at the beginning, and it kind of dwindles because I got busy and stuff like that. I'm also a single dad, so it's a lot of time I gotta do with helping my daughter because she's special needs. So it is what it is. So don't judge, don't hate, congratulate. Brian Sanchez on the scene. Brian, what's our next YouTube video on 5150 toys? What are we doing? What are we doing? I know he's doing something. He's always got something up his sleeve, that Brian Sanchez. What you got, Mr. Sanchez? We know you got something going on. Or does he have nothing going on? What is he doing? What's going on with that Brian? See if he's posting anything. I have a feeling he's not saying anything. He's getting quiet, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, if you get these bootleg Maskatron figures, you're going to need doll stands. They are typically very loose in the legs. They're really crappy body. I don't think they're strong. I think they're just kind of like pushed together, pressure jointed, if you will. So yeah. So I think decided to get some things. Okay, Sanchez isn't saying anything. So Sanchez, he must be making the sausage. Just like the old Dunkin' Donuts commercial. But Brian Sanchez, time to make the sausage. By the way, if you do go to 5150 Toys YouTube page, tell Brian I sent you. And please gift him some pickled sausages from Dollar Tree. They are his favorite. He happens to love them. So everybody have a great evening. Peace.